everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Oh, is it noon already? Oh, good afternoon. It's 1 after. Woo.
It is.
Yes.
Well, hello, everyone. I think we have everyone on, at least for now, and Marianne Bailey with Online Tech Lessons and the HIP Senior will be managing our chat box and our attendees. So if, in case we have a few that jump on after the fact, sometimes we have people join in late, which we're thrilled that they join us anyway. So thank you so much, Marianne Bailey, for offering to support our program.
My pleasure.
Carol, I'm just going to start the thing off by saying thank you for having a thorn amongst all the roses.
Aww.
Oh,
A beautiful thorn to have.
Appreciate that.
Aw.
You happen to be right in the middle of my screen.
Really? There you go.
You're surrounded by us.
Oh, man, another guy's coming in. Dang it.
Aw.
Carol, are you going to share the screen before we start, or?
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes. See, this is why you have to have a good team, a good support network here. Let's see here. Hang on one second. I'm trying to get back. Hang on one second here. Here we go. There we are.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending the 2021 and Beyond Grow Workshop Series and Women's Success Summit, brought to you by Beautiful Faces Going Places and Aviator Dayton. We're so pleased that you've come to join us. We are in week 2 of our virtual series, and we've learned so much last week, and we're going to continue with talking about this week expanding your business. And we have some great speakers on docket for you today. We're going to hear from first Jim Diebold, like Be Bold, Diebold.
Right.
And he is a franchise owner of FocalPoint, and he's going to talk about today refocus in gaining new targets. And we're going to talk to BB Kennett, and she is the CEO and president of Absolute Web Marketing. And she's going to talk to you about the important role of marketing. Then to wrap us up today, we're going to have Carol Dockum. She is the CEO and founder of Beautiful Faces Going Places, and she's going to talk about the 5 C's to networking success. As you know, this is a part of a collaboration between Aviator Dayton and Beautiful Faces Going Places. And this is all leading us to our in-person event, Fingers and Toes Crossed, on November the 6th in Westchester at the Indiana Wesleyan University. It's a hybrid event, so you can attend virtually or you can attend in person. However, seating is limited to be able to exercise the social distancing and keep everyone safe. But we're going to kick that off at 10 a.m. with a networking event, opportunity for you to get those updated headshots. And we're going to have an opening morning session. We're going to have breakout sessions and end with a wonderful closing session and another opportunity to wrap up and network. So it's going to be a great opportunity. If you have already selected for the entire package, that is awesome. You will not be disappointed. And when you leave on November the 6th, the objective is for you to have, for you and your team, a completed strategic plan for 2021 and beyond. So we're excited to have you again. And we are going to, I'm so sorry, did I say November the 6th? The in-person event is November the 13th. Thank you, Carolyn. Where would I be without my good friend Carolyn to help me? I probably gave all of you a heart attack right then. But it is November, myself included, because I was thinking, I have someone wanting to talk to me November the 6th. So November the 13th. So please have that on your calendar. and we're going to go ahead and get started. Please use the chat feature, and Marianne will be able to collect your questions. You can also add your name, your email, contact information that you want to share with the group. Absolutely, please do that. And also, we're going to end, each speaker is going to close out with Q&A. So please have those questions in your mind as you go along. So introducing now to start us off is the wonderful Jim Diebold from FocalPoint.
Thank you, Pamela, and good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. So today we're actually going to talk about a subject that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is actually strategic planning. Can everybody see my screen okay? Yes, got some nods. Okay, good deal. To give you a little bit more about me, I have a corporate background. I worked for a manufacturing company that produced electrical products. Worked my way through that organization up the corporate ladder, so to speak, coaching and training sales organizations as I went. Then I took the opportunity to become a business owner doing the exact same thing in corporate America that I was doing the exact same thing that I was doing in corporate America. And like many people that I now find from a client perspective, like myself, no one had a written strategic plan. We have all these awesome ideas floating around in our head about how we're going to acquire clients and some of these other needs that we have, acquiring the right personnel, but it's never written down. And that can create some challenges. And that's what we're going to talk about today in about 15 or so minutes to really kick this off. Last week, you guys had some great conversations around profitability and insurance and other things like that. Today, we're really going to dive into what do I need to do and even if it's not day one for you, what do I need to do to get the ship righted, so to speak, if in fact that is the case. And I like to have this be interactive. So by all means, please speak. Feel free to unmute yourself. You don't have to strictly use the chat box only. So who can answer why a strategic plan is important? Anybody?
So, Jim, I would say having a strategic plan is important because you have to know where you're going and who you're going to talk to and who's on your team.
Where you're going. I like that one, Pamela. BB, I saw you tried to answer something there.
That's what I said. If you don't have a plan, you don't know where you're going.
Right, exactly. So imagine wanting to go on a trip someplace you've never been before. And you're like, this is great. I've read all the reviews on Google. It's an amazing place. I know it's 300 miles away, but my GPS is broken. So we're just going to drive around till we get there. So you might hit some amazing places along the way, but unfortunately, your chances of actually hitting your destination are slim to none, right? Strategic plan, when I look at it, if you look at the road as your business, your strategic plan is your guardrails. Because you're going to go off the road. You're going to hit those rumble strips a few times. And to keep yourself focused, the guardrail, get you back on track, is your written strategic plan. Because as you get distracted, you can come back and go, where was I? And it doesn't matter if you're a solopreneur, a solo business owner, this still applies. This is not something that you only utilize if you have a team of people to get behind what the plan for the organization is. It's equally as important, even if you're a army of one, so to speak. Make sense? Okay, so I don't know who all was on the email list yesterday, but without looking at the handout that I emailed yesterday, who would say some key components of typically the first place people go as a key component for a strategic plan? Anybody?
Well, you do the SWOT, strengths, weaknesses.
SWOT analysis?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to pick on somebody because they're on my screen and I feel like I can. So I'm going to say, Clarissa, do you have any ideas? I love that smile. That's great.
No.
Okay. Fair enough. How about James? You're on my screen. Any ideas as to where people typically go when they start developing a plan? A topic, that is?
Website should be maybe a sort of a guideline of what you
Like developing a website? Okay. All right. Most of my clients go straight to sales. They tell me that they want help with sales. How do they develop a sales process? What's the approach to acquire the sales? Because let's face it, no sales, no business, right? The pitfall there, though, is if we go straight to sales and we don't build a foundation of the business, then we're essentially building a house of cards. I can tell you that with all of the clients I have, not one of them have a strategic plan. And I can tell you that when I left corporate America and started my own business, I did not create a strategic plan. I didn't have anybody that told me, hey, you should create a strategic plan. Not only did I not have anybody to tell me, I, for whatever reason, didn't even think to go ask someone for help. And so my business was successful in spite of myself, which many tend to be. If you're really good at something, whether it was corporate America or a trade or some other skill that you have, we turn it into a business and it moves along because we're good at that skill. But as it grows, we run into a lot of pitfalls. So if you look at the sheet that you got, assuming you were on the email list, and I can provide separately if you weren't, one of the first things that we need to take a look at really are what are your values? Okay, what's important to you? Because if we go and we start to try to sell products that we don't necessarily believe in, or we're selling to a client that doesn't align with our values, or there's an employee that we know doesn't align with our values, what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be a lot of stress on you because there's a disconnect with you and the client or you and the employee. I can tell you that the business that I was in was a very cutthroat business, and it did not align with my values whatsoever. When I would go into a client's office, person that I've done business with many times over, and we agreed that we had a deal on the next project, and then project day comes and they tell me I don't have the project anymore, that did not align with my values of integrity and honesty at all. So needless to say, after not quite 5 years of having that business, I closed it because I couldn't do it anymore. Does that make sense? So I sent out a second sheet yesterday from the material that I use with my clients to help you with memory joggers. Pages 9 and 10 are a whole list of different values that you can read through and figure out which ones resonate the most with you. Okay? Any questions about that? All right.
Jim?
Yes, ma'am.
Talking about your values, is it important for you to articulate that or communicate that somewhere, maybe on your website or verbally when you're speaking to someone?
That is a great question, and I would say that there's two answers to that. One is absolutely, why not? The other one is I believe that comes out when we get to a couple of the other things that we're going to get to in just a second. And I don't want to give the answers away.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So along with values, now the next thing is why.
Right.
Why are we doing what we're doing? Is it something specific to help a certain type of person or people? Is it to help certain organizations? Why are we doing what we're doing? What makes us passionate about getting up every single day and doing what we do? I can tell you that since I decided to take my corporate knowledge and my business ownership knowledge and become a business coach, I have not worked a day. I have not felt like I have worked a day since I started to do that. And my why is helping other people succeed. And I get up every day with no problem because I know that I'm helping other people. So what is your why? If you're not familiar with Simon Sinek, I highly encourage you to go to his TED Talk on YouTube. It's an awesome component, but people buy what you're doing because of your why. They're not buying the what. Not likely you're the only person with the what. Lots of people have the whats, but they really buy you because of your why. So really dive into that and determine what your why is. Next thing is vision, or your vision statement. Where are you going? Where do you want your company to go? All right, this goes back to part of that strategic plan of what's my destination. And one thing I didn't mention at the beginning, but that document that you all have to work from is meant to be a 10-year plan. Okay, you're getting in business not to be in business for a year or 5 years, right? You're getting in business because there's something that you love about what you're doing, and you're going to move forward with it until you decide it's time to retire, sell, succession plan, whatever that looks like. So where are you going? This is a 10-year plan, and you'll notice there's 3 to 5 year goals and there's 1 year goals that all feed up into your 10-year plan. So vision is an extremely, extremely important component of that, or a vision statement. Now we start getting into not only what's motivating you past your why, but also how do you get your team, if you have a team, to stack hands and all agree, this is where we're going. So what I have here for you is what Amazon's mission statement is, okay? To be the Earth's most customer-centric company. I'll just read that part. So that's their goal. They want to be the most customer-centric company. Well, who can tell me what the next component is after you determined your why and you have a vision statement? What would come next? Any guesses?
How about your mission?
Excellent. Yes, your mission statement. Your vision is where am I going in the future? Your mission is what am I doing every day to get there? So again, using Amazon, their vision is to be the Earth's most customer-centric company. That's where we want to go. That's where we want to be. How do they do that every single day? To offer their customers the lowest possible prices, best available selection, utmost convenience. So those things that they're doing every single day align them to be what they want to be in the future, which is the most customer-centric company. You see how that all ties together? And that's something that you know that Jeff Bezos and the management team are promoting on a daily, weekly, monthly basis so that the team is aligned and everyone's rowing in the same direction. It's nothing worse than being in a boat and people are rowing in different directions, right? So you get them aligned. Courtney, was that a question or were you going, phew, this is a lot?
Both. No, it was
Okay.
a question. How important is it to keep the same value mission? Because they make these statements and then they're kind of their brand for life. You change as you grow. Can it change, or is that bad for your business?
That is a spectacular question. And if we were in a classroom and I had gold stars or candy bars, I'd give you one. So what does everybody else think, or anyone else think to that question?
I think you can evolve. I think just depends. You shouldn't do a total 180, but you can grow and expand. Absolutely.
100% agree. So Courtney, your vision probably won't change or shouldn't change. That's really your long-term goal. That's at the core of you and what you want your company to ultimately do for, like I said, people, the planet, whatever it might be. Your mission, however, may change. You may find that you need to do different things to achieve your vision than you thought. So your mission can certainly change, not as likely for your vision to change. It could, but not as often as the mission could potentially change. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. That's an awesome question. So we're formulating this strategic plan now, right? We know the highway we're going to take to get to where we're going. We have our vision statement mapped out, our mission statement mapped out. There's one maybe not one, but a real key component that we haven't discussed yet that we need to help us achieve all of these things, what would that be?
Your purpose.
Ooh, purpose is awesome. That's a great answer, but not what I was looking for. Purpose actually kind of falls into the why category, my why, my purpose and my why.
I'm just looking at your sheet that you
Don't shoot the messenger.
So the next one coming up is also on the sheet, but I'm not looking at the sheet, so I don't remember exactly which column it's in, but it's an acronym. I'll give that bit of detail. Gotta have this. Most people do not do it.
goals.
Goals. More specifically, BHAGs. Big, hairy, audacious goals. And I say BHAGs are audacious because dream big. Okay?
Big hair goals for the ladies. Big hair goals.
Big hair. There you go.
Not hairy, but big hair.
Big hair goals. I like it, Pamela. I like it. So it's okay to dream big, but they do have to be realistic as well. Now, a BHAG, an audacious goal, is more of a long-term goal. So when you look on that sheet, that's part of your 3 to 5 year plan. As you start to go backwards into 1 year goals, quarterly goals, et cetera, it starts to break it down even further. Does that make sense? Now, there's an acronym that we use for determining a goal or the format, the structure of a goal. Has anyone heard the acronym before? Maybe? No? Well, you're going to feel smart when you put your goals together. Okay? SMART stands for specific, measurable, aligned with your values, realistic, and time-bound. So to say that I want to grow sales, that is not a SMART goal. Or to say I want to lose weight, not a SMART goal. You would say I want to generate X percent or X dollars in additional revenue by Q4 of 2021 or Q1 of 2021, etc. That gives you a specific, measurable, and time-bound goal. And remember, it does have to be aligned with your values. It goes back to the very initial conversation that the initial topic we started the conversation on. Does that make sense? The R, though, remember, realistic. So if you're in a type of business with your products or services that's going to be tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, don't set a goal for $5 million. It's not realistic, right? So it's got to be something that's achievable. If it's not achievable, it's got to be a stretch. But if it's not achievable, what's likely to happen when you don't get there?
You get depressed and you quit.
There you go. Happens all the time, Courtney. Happens all the time. So it does have to be achievable to keep you motivated. Of course, you got to lean on your why for that a little bit too. Does that make sense? Any questions around that? Okay, well, it is 12:25. I think that I'm sorry?
Can you repeat what SMART, the acronym, the meaning of that?
Yes, absolutely. I tell you what I'll do. I'll let BB get started and I will type it in the chat box. How about that?
That's great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So I really appreciate your guys' time, and I really appreciate Carol and Pamela giving me the opportunity to speak with you guys. There's a lot of information that you've already received, but there's a lot more you're going to get to help you successfully launch and or successfully grow your existing businesses over the next few weeks. You're only going to remember so much, even with your note-taking during that process. So by all means, please reach out to me. There's my contact information. Plus you have my email from me sending out the information yesterday. I'd be more than happy to talk to you and help guide you through a couple things. like I said, I love helping people succeed, and I'm in the business of business. So I look forward to your guys' success. I also look forward to seeing you guys again on November 13th. So have an amazing rest of today and an awesome weekend coming up.
Well, thank you,
Thank you
Jim.
so much,
That was
Jim.
fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
That was amazing, Jim. I was just thinking, trying to take all that, those tidbits in, because you do need to revisit your why, and that why needs to be strong, especially in our current climate of having to do business around in parallel to the pandemic. So that
Agreed.
has to be strong. And then also your values, how you do business, because that sometimes that will be pushed or tested. So thank you so much. You want to remain true to that. So that's going
My
to
pleasure.
So next we're going to have Ms. Bibi Kennett, and she's going to talk about the role of marketing. And she is the founder and president of, tell me again, my note just disappeared.
Of Absolute Web Marketing.
Absolute Web Marketing. So she's
Sorry,
going
I was muted.
Oh, that's okay. I had the screen up and then it went away. So thank you so much. And you're going to give us the role of marketing.
Okay, well, I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what we're going to talk about a little bit is what technology is going to do from now into 2021. I'm going to talk a little bit about e-commerce,
Wow.
SEO, and websites. And I believe, like Jim did, is that if this is an interactive conversation, so if you have questions or anything, then let's talk about it and go from there. Okay. 2020 has been a crazy year, and around every corner, you never know what was going to happen. And do you kind of think that maybe 2021 could be like this path, that you don't know if there's going to be that alligator in the middle of the path or where it's going to come or what's going to happen? Well, it really has been crazy, but the good news is there's some good things that have happened in 2020. So what I want to do is tell you about the good things and the trends and what's going on in technology. Now, Jim and I did not talk beforehand. It's funny that we both used Amazon as one of our examples, but this shows how much e-commerce has grown over the last couple years. And Amazon just took off crazy. People are buying things online. And to give you kind of an idea of the extent, about a year, it's been between 1 and 2 years ago, I spent $5,000 and invested in Amazon. And I looked it up, and that $5,000 has grown to 6 figures in just a short amount of time. And that just gives you the general idea of how e-commerce has just grown so much. So if you have any tangible things that you want to sell and services, then you're missing the boat if you aren't getting involved in the e-commerce. Things have changed in 2020 on how people are shopping. They're doing it completely different than they did before. The first thing is that people are buying things online. Before, some people they were scared to use their credit cards online, or they just didn't trust the internet, or it was just easier to go down to the store. But now people are looking online. They're looking at different places that they've never looked at before. And then they're even buying online more. Okay. And then the other thing that people are doing is they will plan ahead. They'll research it online, look it up, get all the information before they go to the store. So people are using the internet to do the research, even though they are still going to the store, but they're getting the information first. And then they were looking for the safest way to do things. People are being very, very cautious. If you don't have a safe website, they're not going to stick around. If you don't have your safety procedures on there, they may not go to your store. So people are looking for safe. And what's really amazing is 67% of the shoppers plan to shop local and local small businesses, which is surprising because of the growth in Amazon, which is such a large company. It's surprising that that many people now are looking for the local. If at first, right after COVID started, it was like a knee jerk. Everybody ran to Amazon because it was a big company. They had the structure and the facility to make sure that products were safe. But now people are pulling back and they're saying, hey, you know, we don't want Amazon to be the only choice in the world. We want to support our local businesses. Now, I used this slide a year ago in a presentation for Carol last year, talking about the buying process. You know, people came up with a need and they looked around and saw that, oh, I need, you know, this is interesting. I need to try and get this. And then they would do some research and they could compare things and then they would buy. And my recommendation a year ago was to optimize your website for that buy cycle, because once people decide to buy, then that's when you really want to capture them. But it's a whole different ballpark this year. This is from Google, because Google gets an amazing 40,000 hits a minute. You know, I can't imagine that. That is a huge number. But that's how many hits. With all that data, they can do some amazing research, and they publish a lot of the research that they do to help businesses. But what they've called the purchase journey has a messy middle. It's not that straight line feature anymore. People have 140 touch points. Used to be, you know, back at one time it was, okay, you saw an ad on TV and you may go buy something. And then you got to, oh, check a website, check Facebook. Well, now they've got 140 different ways of finding your business and your products. Now, 89% search online before they purchase. So a lot of people, like I said, are going to the online looking, and then they'll go and buy it. And again, they're willing to buy things from new places and try out some different things. But the messy middle is because people will do some research, then they'll decide on what they want, they'll go to a store and try to get it, and it's out of stock. Or they can't deliver it. Or there's all kinds of different problems that come back up. And then they start that whole cycle over again. They go back and do some research, they narrow it down, they go back, and they get stopped somewhere. And so it goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And so it's not this linear process anymore. The people are going all over the place when they're trying to buy things. An example is about 2 months ago, we had a freezer that I thought was going to die. And it was like, okay, we better get a new freezer before it completely shuts down and I've got all this food I don't know what to do with. So I looked online, and I've gone to Home Depot before, and I went to, I went to Lowe's and the website, and I was so excited they were having a sale on freezers, which just sounded really great. And I picked out the freezer that I wanted. And I called the store and I said, do you have a demo of this freezer that you've got on sale? And she said, oh, no, ma'am. We haven't had a freezer in the store in months. We are completely sold out. I said, okay, well, can I go ahead and order this one? She goes, oh, sure, we can give you the sale price. It'll be delivered in February of next year. Now, this was in August. My freezer's going out in August and she wants to deliver it in February. You know, so what did I have to do? I had to circle back around and find out, you know, okay, where can I get this? I had no idea that freezers were like toilet paper. that everybody was cooking at home and staying at home, and that you couldn't buy a freezer anywhere. I ended up finding somebody, my son had a freezer in his basement that he wasn't using, and I still haven't gotten a new freezer. But that's what's happening now, is there are processes that are stopping people. So the newest way to market to your customers is to make sure to eliminate those things that are going to block them from hitting that sale button and making that purchase. So some of the new popular search terms, one of the first ones is best. Not cheapest, not free, but people are looking for the best. And part of that is because it used to be the internet was the great way to find the least expensive item. And you could go in there and say cheapest and you would get all the prices. But now, cheapest isn't always best, because you look at the ratings, you look at can they deliver it, can I pick it up, where is it? There's a whole list of things that go into the best, and even the ratings, So people are looking for the best, and the searches for cheapest, the searches for free are declining, whereas the searches for best is going up. Now, because of COVID, people want to know if you've got curbside pickup, for stores, if it's in stock, if it's delivered, is it in store? People will typically want to make sure that you've got it, if it's a tangible item, before they will go to a store. But the other search term that's really big is nearby. It used to be that you would Google something and you would say near me. Well, the newest term is nearby. And Google has changed things to go along with this term that's being searched for. So there's been a 900% increase in the term nearby, which just kind of blows my mind that it's increased that much. It's increased so much that this is a sample of, over here it's got that somebody was searching for a music stand. Now, if you search for a product, then underneath that product, you can see the tab that says shopping. And if you click on that that tab for shopping, nearby pops up. And then if you click on nearby, you'll get the map from, located from where you are. It will show you what stores have what you're looking for. So Google has rearranged their menu because so many people are looking for nearby that they've added nearby on their menu so that people can find it faster. The other thing is Google My Business. This is a great way for people to find you on nearby. This is one of the key things that Google uses to find what cities you serve, what counties, the whole regional area that you serve. This one is a sample of mine. It's got my logo. It's kind of tiny, but it's got my logo, my address, the map, pictures, 5-star reviews, address. But what's nice is down at the bottom on the one, it shows my products. And I can put whatever products that I have, whatever services. I put on there, I was doing tutoring for Zoom meetings. And the week after I put that on, I had a company call and wanted me to do a tutoring for Zoom meetings for their staff. So I had a group meeting just from that one post on my Google My Business page. The other thing that your Google My Business page does is on the right, it's got reviews. And so when somebody looks up Absolute Web Marketing, that Google My Business page pops up, and Google is telling people right up there, Phoebe's a joy to work with, and this is an awesome company. Now, and that's just really good for me to have Google saying that, telling people about those reviews. And it also has a description of my business that I write, and you can update my Google My Business. Now, I can't see the chat right now, but I want you to type in the chat if you have a Google My Business page. Tell me if you do or you don't, and then I'll see it afterwards.
Hey, BB.
Yes?
While this is Marianne, while they're doing that, Jim Diebold asked, is there some kind of correlation with nearby as a tab versus Google searches automatically still bringing up the near me as an option?
Yes, it is still doing the near me, and I don't know why the change went from near me to nearby. But yes, if you still search, for something nearby, you will get it. But for some reason, they put that tab for nearby. But yes, you still can do near me.
So they're still just giving you options.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Google My Business is a great opportunity. You can create a Google My Business page yourself, or you can have somebody like me help you with it and optimize it and get a lot of traction from it. Now, one thing that you have to be careful of is what's called NAP. It's name, address, and phone number. If you're on the internet, you want to make sure that your name, address, and phone number is consistent so that you can see the 3 ways that I wrote my phone number down. To Google, those are 3 different phone numbers because they are not identical. So on your Google My Business page should be the same as your website, should be the same as your social media. You always make sure that the name, address, and phone number are identically put. I wouldn't put, my address is Blue Ridge Drive. I wouldn't put DRIVE in one place and DR in another place, okay? And on the Google My Business page, it also has you where you can talk about COVID-19 down on the bottom on the right. It gives you an option because that's another thing that people are looking for. When I mentioned safety, people are looking for the safety of being able to know what your procedures are. The newest item is, this just opened up 3 weeks ago, Google Web Stories. It was in beta up until then. You probably have heard of Facebook Stories or Instagram Stories, but now Google is doing Web Stories. And the thing is that if you play with Google's tools, then Google likes it. And so you're going to see probably a lot of these, which these are several different samples. They're pictures with words, and they may be 5 or 6 slides that go back and forth. And you can have hot links to call for action, to your website, to whatever goes along with your pictures. But this is something that Google is going to be pushing very hard in the next coming future. Good content is important. Well, this lady is looking one way, or is she looking at you, or is she looking away from you? If you see one thing and your customer sees a different perspective, you're going to miss the boat. So you have to know your customer, make sure your content is relevant, conversational, and trustworthy. Those are big things to Google. The worksheet that I have is the 9 steps to audit your website. It gives you links and questions to answer so that you can review your website and see how you're doing and kind of give you some things to do. So I saw this sign at the school crossing where you do school drop-off, where you hug and go. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you all a great big virtual hug. And then I like the second part, please pull forward. I want you all to go forward in your business and definitely use the things that I said, use the things that Jim said, and make your business go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, BB. That was awesome. I don't know about you guys, some of that I had never heard of.
Yes.
That was totally fresh and totally appropriate for this moment and the space we're in now. And so the role of marketing and how you present yourself in this space in time is so relevant. How you're doing business in response to COVID is so relevant. How you're showing up on Google, which is the #1 search engine, is so important. And still, people still want to do business locally. That's good news. So that was a
Absolutely.
great presentation. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
Um,
you.
so we're going to, yes, Jim.
thank you. I have a quick comment to make because BB's presentation was awesome, and two comments. The first one is marketing and sales are two very different things, but this is something that is so key that it actually made me step back a little bit when I heard somebody say it. And that is when you go to your first client appointment, it's their second because they've already looked you up.
Yes.
Very
So
good
everything
point.
Baby just gave you, that makes it even more priceless because your first sales call is their second meeting. Don't forget that.
That's pretty powerful.
Yes. And you'll notice that because you can sometimes see that they've looked you up on LinkedIn. You know, they have searched you in places where you can know that they've searched you. And people want to know, can I trust who I'm doing business with and what other people are saying about them, about you? So that is important to those reviews. I learned that early on, especially when I was in sales, that people wanted to know who I was before they even entered the store. So very key points. Thank you so much.
You know, in light of that, probably a good idea would be to go back through your Google stuff that you've posted on my page, your Facebook stuff, and delete some of the older posts where maybe you had older marketing that doesn't present you in as best of light. Maybe you had a professional design some stuff for you after you first got through that initial design phase of, oh, I'm just going to create a quick business card or a quick brochure, and you have that out on the internet. You know, that once they say everything's out on the internet, it's always out on the internet, right? So we've got old stuff out there that doesn't always make us look as great. Well, you've also got those people looking at those things as well. So go back and kind of clean up your history a little bit too.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about refresh and rebrand. I think that may be week 3. That's next week.
That's next Friday, October 30th. Refresh,
Oh.
rebrand.
And that's a part of that conversation, Marianne. Refresh and rebrand yourself. You need to be current. So you don't need images or ideas or expressions of yourself that are dated. Yes, Brenda, I saw you with your hand.
I knew you saw me. I knew you'd come back. I have a comment and I have a question.
Yes.
My comment is, BB, you're just an animal. The last time we were together, she did a presentation. She had a live monkey there. And now she started off with a big fat alligator.
I'm a nature girl.
You are.
Yeah.
You are, and you're married to a safari man. Anyway, that was really cute. Now everybody's going to associate you with an animal, but that's wonderful. But I have a question about when you talked about making sure your name and your address for your company and your telephone number are all written the same way. I never even thought of that, to be honest. However, do people often ask you, I don't know. I'm not really comfortable. I know people can make an effort and Google me and find out, but listing my home address on business things because I work from my home.
Good question.
I work from my home too, and I have it listed, and I've never had any problem with it, but I'm out of the beaten tracks too. I'm a little bit more in the country. I've had one person that had a post office box in at the post office and listed the physical address of the post office and with the box number, so that at least she'd have a physical address. Google pretty much likes it better because at least they know that you have a physical address. They've loosened up on a little bit over the years, but people also like it better if they know where you're from.
I don't know. That just makes me nervous about. Actually, I know people can look up my name and they can find out where I live and they can see an aerial shot, but having an aerial shot of my house and posting it makes me a little nervous.
Brenda, I have a box at the UPS store and I pay, I think like $10 a month or something like that. And anytime I have business stuff, I just have it all sent there. And, you know, they hold any boxes for me so that they aren't sitting on my front porch, you know, when people donate for happy bags and stuff like that. It's really handy just to have someone kind of collecting that. And then that way you don't have to put out your physical address out there, but you still have one.
And I would probably imagine that will be more popular now, especially in this, we're learning that we can work from home and we can have virtual meetings. That may be something that's maybe the norm, the post office box and things of that nature. So I'm going to ask for the sake of time, because I do want to hear these 5 C's from Carol. And because I'm interested, she's intrigued me. 5 C's from Carol, and her name begins with C. So we're going to have her come and put your questions in the box, please. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pamela. Yeah, so I'm just going to wrap up our session here. I want to share the 5 C's to networking success. And you know what? It is all about connecting, collaborating, cultivating conversations consistently. And so number 1, connect. Networking is about getting your name, your business out into the world. And more importantly, it's about making real, genuine connections. And how do you do that? Well, number 1, you do that by showing up and just being your true, authentic self. And I always like to say, ditch the pitch when you're networking. And that's whether you're networking in person or online virtually. Ditch the pitch and really ask the other person or the people that you're networking with, ask them about them. Ask, how can I help you, versus will you buy? There will be a time and place for that. Number 2, it's all about collaborations, right? The value of your connections within your network can lead to huge collaboration opportunities. I've got to say thank you so much to Angie Thompson of Living in America, who actually was a connection. And she introduced me to Pamela Cohn, the director of Aviatra Accelerators out of Dayton. And the 2 of us put our brilliant minds together and created this collaboration opportunity. Now that would not have happened had we not been networking and connecting one another. So there are huge opportunities through networking that can lead to collaboration opportunities. And we would not all be here today without that. Number 3, cultivate. You know, it so takes time and energy and effort to efficiently network. I think what I've seen in the networking world, that people think they can instantaneously just show up networking with their business cards. You know, how many of you have gone to networking events and you just collect all of these cards, right? And so it's not a game about who can connect or who can collect the most amount of business cards. It's about cultivating relationships. And that takes time for people to get to know you and know that you truly care about them. And then that leads to that know, like, and trust factor that we all hear about. And it is real, it does exist. Conversation. So remember that it's not all about you. People love talking about themselves. So genuinely ask questions, be genuinely interested in the other person. So you can do that by asking questions, seek advice, ask for recommendations. But the fastest way to become the most interesting person in a room is to be genuinely interested in others. And lastly, consistently. I've got to share with you that I always say, get up, dress up, show up, and never give up. So you have to do this over time, consistently, in order to make the magic of networking happen. It really is it's like a foundational piece that has, if you take all of these 5 C's and put them to work, you will actually take your business to the next level and create amazing opportunities, build your network. And as you all have heard, your network is your net worth. So that's my 5 C's to networking success. Thank you for allowing me to share this with you. It's there's just so much more to networking than just showing up and pitching and asking for a sale when you haven't done the foundational work of building a relationship, genuinely being interested in others. So that's it. And thank you.
Thank you, Carol. You know, I discovered the value of networking once I started this role, and being able to connect, and not only to network, but to network virtually, and to cultivate those relationships, and to schedule one-on-one meetings. And so they have been the backbone of how I've launched AVH Dayton in the middle of a pandemic, at the onset of a pandemic, to be able to do that. And so I would suggest to you to keep your eyes and your ears open when you're a part of these forums for people that you genuinely connect with, opposed to, like she said, just gathering those business cards. So I'm still finding business cards from when I worked for my other company stuck in places in suitcases. So that is so true. So we want to thank you guys for another great week. Want our presenters awesome. Thank you, Jim. And thank you, BB. That was awesome. My head was still trying to retain all of that great information. I'm so grateful for the leave behinds that they have left us. So each week you're going to add, that's the goal. So by the time we get to November the 13th, when we are having that last big event, you can leave there feeling better about your business for 2021 and beyond than you did when we started this first session. Carol, have I forgotten anything?
No, Pamela, you did a fabulous roundup here. As I said, I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to co-host this event with you, Pamela. I'm grateful to the introduction and through networking. And I've got to say, you know, I'm the CEO and founder of my company, Beautiful Faces Going Places, Women's Success Network. And I had a choice to make of to just sit still and do nothing and just kind of wait out 2020 and wait and see and wait and see. And I made the decision. The answer was no. We need to move forward. We need to map out and plan, strategically plan 2021 and position ourselves for success. So I'm so grateful to you, Pamela, that you said, yes, let's put together this virtual Grow Workshop series leading up to our Women's Success Summit and Conference on Friday, November 13th. And yes, we will be practicing all the CDC health and safety guidelines, social distancing, masks, lunch will be catered in, box lunch. So it's just going to be an amazing day. And I know as Jim shared earlier in his presentation, it is about values and vision and mission. And I believe all of us here share very similar values. And we're just looking forward to working with you, helping you get ready for 2021. So,
absolutely. And if you know a friend who has a business benefit from this, they'll have access to the recorded sessions that we've done so far, and they'll have full access to the event, whether they're going to attend in person or they're going to be virtual. But this information is vital. Carol and I have committed to helping business owners be able to get past being stuck because of the current climate that we're in. I believe that's all we have. Join us again next week. We'll be on Friday this time.
yes.
We'll be back on Friday for our virtual event. And who's on first and who's on second for next week?
Who's on deck? Well, we have Jerisha Moore, the founder and CEO of Empower on Purpose. And then we have Angie Snowball Thompson. She is the owner and CEO of Living in America. And Shannon Donestay, marketing specialist and and her company is 5 Star Social Media. It's going to be just amazing. More additional information to help support you in business.
That's right. Refresh and Rebrand is on board for next week. We hope you have a great week. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us, and we will see you next Friday.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, everybody.
Bye-bye. Also, Carol, you're going to share the chat with people. 'Cause
Yeah,
people put
the
in their
chat
email.
and the video replays will go out either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Sounds great.
Yeah,
Thank you, Carol.
Is there the Blitzer networking thing after this?
there is not.
Okay, I had written
Yes.
it originally on my calendar when we talked.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.